Your new Abgal liner has been crafted from the very best raw materials and has been treated to resist algae growth. Vinyl is an incredibly tough pool finish and, like all pool finishes, requires some care, as neglect will shorten its lifespan. So please pay attention to the following care guide. Okay, for starters, you need to maintain your cleaning equipment. Always store pool cleaning equipment out of the sun. Exposure to UV rays will quickly break down plastic parts, making them brittle and likely to chip. Chipped edges can become razor sharp and may cut your liner. So regularly check your cleaning equipment for sharp edges or broken pieces, and remember to store away from the sun. Never leave it hanging on the fence. It's also a good idea to check out any new equipment that you've purchased. Carefully run your fingers across any edges, and if you need to, file them down to smooth them off. Oh, and don't be frugal with the old equipment. If in doubt, replace it. Now, if for any reason you're thinking about emptying your pool, maybe your cleaning gear is not up to scratch and you need to mend a hole, well, because the liner is held in place by the water, it's really important that your pool is not left empty for more than a few hours, or the liner will shrink, and once it shrinks, it won't stretch back. So unless you're confident that you can drain, repair and refill your pool in the same day, you should consider getting a pool professional in to do the work for you. If needed, they can apply a vacuum seal on the liner to prevent shrinkage. Okay, it's time to talk about chemicals. First of all, always pre-mix your chemicals with pool water. Liquid chlorine is heavier than water and can bleach any pool finish. Dilute your chemicals with pool water first and then add them to the pool, one at a time. And never mix chemicals. It is essential that you run your filtration for at least an hour after adding any chemicals, and an automatic cleaner does a great job drawing water from the floor and circulating it throughout your pool. Deep end pools are particularly vulnerable. If you add raw chemicals without the filter running, it will run towards the deep end and sit there concentrated, slowly bleaching the liner.
Remember, dilute the chemical with pool water, then run your filtration system during application and for at least 1 hour after. Or take extreme care with chlorine tablets placed in floating dispensers. If small chunks of the tablet dislodge and fall undissolved to the floor, it will bleach the liner. The dispenser will also be naturally drawn to the skimmer, concentrating the chlorine in the one small area prior to being drawn through the filtration. This concentrated chlorine cloud can also affect your liner.
Right, on to acid. Hydrochloric acid is very aggressive and can affect the finish of a printed liner. It should be avoided at all costs, as a liner can even change colour if the acid is too concentrated. Don't even use hydrochloric acid on the pool's coping, just use a high pressure cleaner instead. Dry acid is not as harsh as hydrochloric and is recommended to balance your pH in a vinyl lined pool.
Now, flocking. Flocking your pool is simply adding a chemical to bind all the floating bits that the filtration doesn't seem to be able to handle. To give you an example, flock is usually used when the pool is first filled in older areas with very old pipes and there is a lot of muck in the water, or the water is very cloudy. A liquid flocking agent is fine, but never use an alum-based flocking agent. Alum is very acidic with a low pH level. If you use an alum-based flocking agent, you'll risk permanent wrinkling of the liner, which makes cleaning the floor really difficult.
And finally, let's talk about keeping your water balanced. Because the mineral content of water varies so much, it is important to check your pool regularly. When you have an Abgal liner, your pH should always be between 7.4 and 7.8. For detailed information on balancing your pool, you should have a look at the Vinyl Liner Care and Maintenance brochure. You'll find it in the instruction manuals menu on this disc.
Now, I know it's hard to believe, but a vinyl liner can actually grow. That's right. If your pH sits below 7 for any length of time, your liner can literally grow. And if this happens, there's no shrinking it back. The whole liner will become hard and brittle, shortening its life considerably.
The bottom line, treat your liner well and it will reward you with many years of hassle-free service.